Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live interview session here at the PAME Code Season of Courage. We are joined here today by a very special guest. She's a speaker, author, and business process genius. Oh, she really is a genius, I'm telling you. For over 20 years, she has run her own businesses in service and retail industries, and she's here with us today to talk about courage to activate dreams. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you Kerry Nelson.
Hello.
Hi,
Nice to be
Kerry.
here.
How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you. On the other side of the world here.
Awesome. You're live in Australia, aren't you?
Yes. Well, it's just amazing to be sharing with you here today.
Yeah, well, the great things that the internet can do for us. But well, this is the season of courage here at the Pami Code Facebook group. So, what does courage mean to you?
Oh, can I start with saying what courage doesn't mean to me? Is that okay?
Yes,
Because
yes.
because what I found is that what courage isn't is always needing to be strong and always needing to have it together and always having the answers and feeling like you have to be right and always be certain. So I think courage is the ability to stand up and make choices and be true to yourself, even amidst vulnerability and uncertainty and things that are going wrong in your challenges in your life. I think courage is the ability to stand up in the face of that and somehow pull something out that you believe that you're going to make it anyway, but not always saying that you've got it all together.
Wow. So it's not just being strong, it's about being strong in the midst of adversity.
That's exactly right. And sometimes I think when you're courageous, it's sort of like feel the fear and do it anyway. Where if you're trying to be strong, it means you're trying to hold it together. You're trying to keep on performing and keep on improving. Where sometimes what courage will say is, just have another go, just dig in a little bit deeper. And but I think courage comes from somewhere that's internal, whereas strength I think is more of a performance thing, and it's more about what you need to do to please others or to achieve external goals, and those things can be important and sometimes valuable, but I think courage comes from a deeper place of betting on yourself that you can muster it up.
Right. So it comes from a deeper place. And I can see that, you're taking this from a really personal perspective. Have you had any, well, I've seen your website and your blog. I mean, you've been through some really, really difficult moments in your life. What particular point did you really have to pick up the courage to overcome that particular difficulty in your life?
Yeah, certainly. On the 28th of May 2014, I arrived home from working in our family business and found that my husband had unexpectedly passed away, and I found him right there on the kitchen floor. And so on that day, when I say unexpected, I mean it was a gutting shock. I had no idea. He hadn't been well, but certainly not fatally ill. He'd been really stressed with the management of our business. His health had been progressively deteriorating, but not to the point that there was any sort of alarm bells going on. But as a result of all that pressure, he actually had a heart attack unexpectedly that day. And so when I came home, my first thought was, what has happened here? And that was really closely followed by, how am I even going to live? We'd run our business together. We'd been together for 15 years and married for 12, and we'd run businesses for the entire time. And so I couldn't imagine doing life without him. And, when you're married for that long, or even just with people, but, whether it be in your family or other people you share your life with, to suddenly not have them anymore, I honestly didn't know how that was going to work out. And yet I was stuck in that position. So, I had to find a response. Somehow I needed to work out a response. And the rest of that night, it rolled out just like a really bad B grade movie. The Ambos came and the police came and my cousin came to look after me. And it was a really blurry sort of night. And then the next day, we had a lot of business debt. And so I needed to go straight back to work, and I had to contact my suppliers and deal with all this stuff. And that takes courage. And I'm just like, no, I can really do this. And I was sitting there at one point that day, and I was reading through some reflective notes that I'd been keeping in my phone, just sort of like a journal, but not that formal, just like popping thoughts down when they came into mind. And I thought, I know what this is going to be. And nothing else made sense, but I knew this is going to be a book. and I'm going to be a speaker, and I'm going to show people you really can overcome adversity. You really can get through. And I thought, okay, I've got something in me, and I'm just going to keep pressing through and figure out how to actually do that and what that looks like. But yeah, that was certainly the day that I realized I've got to pull something out here that I never even knew that I had. And I think that for me, that was where I realized I've got courage that, yeah, it's never been tried before. And it works.
Right? So it was like a light bulb moment. You're coming out of a really traumatic life event. Losing your life partner, your business partner, but he's your life partner.
Oh,
You've
yeah,
been,
he was everything. Mm.
and you use that experience to actually pull something magnificent with your life right now. So what are you doing now?
Oh gosh, so much has changed since then. So at that time, I was working up until that time with Alec, and in our business, we were in online retail. We'd actually met selling Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door. Have you heard of Kirby vacuum? Yeah. It's such an embarrassing story, but it actually explains a lot. So we'd met selling vacuums, and we'd stayed in that sort of industry the whole time. So we were selling vacuum cleaner spare parts online. We did all of our own order fulfillment ourselves. We had a couple of boys in the warehouse filling orders and receiving stock and all that sort of thing. And Alec did a lot of the marketing and sales, and I did a bunch of the admin. But we all sort of pitched in and did what we had to do. So at that time, I was left with a business that we were in massive debt. It was one of the contributors to the stress that caused the heart attack. So I had to clean all of that up. I documented all of our processes. I had a developer work with me to automate a bunch of our stuff. And I cleaned it up over the following 18 months, and then I ended up selling that. And that was wonderful. I could finally have a break. And so it took a year to myself and wrote my book and did some speaker training. But as it's turned out, the thing that I was left with in my business situation is a thing that a lot of business owners have, which is, I call it a runaway train, where your business is going beautifully. You've got the sales, you've got your staff, things are going well, and yet it's not managed at all. And it's grown so fast and it's out of control. And the thing that I did in my business, other business owners need help with, like, get the job descriptions right, get the routines organized around, clear your inbox, pay your bills on time, that sort of stuff that I help with now. So it's been amazing. Out of that horrible time that happened for me, I realized I had skills that are now so valuable for other people. So it's been really quite a journey.
So is this something that you've always dreamed of doing, or was this just out of the blue?
No, it's more out of the blue than something that I dreamed, certainly. But there's always a core thread. And I think this is it's not part of courage, but I think it's a prerequisite for courage. I don't think you need a really clear plan to have courage, but you need to know who you are to have courage. So when I was in that situation, I didn't know how it was going to turn out or even exactly what I wanted, but what I did know was me. And I know that I've always been the person who I love to empower and inspire and equip people. And so whether that looked like business, or I'm a trained teacher, so I've worked in education for years and years, or, in whatever platform that looks like, for me, it's like, right, what is the best way that I can demonstrate my strengths and pull that out for the benefit of other people in a way that is in alignment truly with who I am. And that comes back to, empowering and equipping other people. And now I really do that best in a business sense.
Right. And it's so for you, it's really about knowing who you are. And that will ignite the passion, and that will power you through.
Yeah, I think that's the starting point. If you're not meaning to be self-absorbed, but if you're not really sure of who you are and what you're about, there's no way that you can go about and make a clear life plan or make decisions without compromising or making mistakes or getting in with the wrong crowd, setting goals that aren't actually going to fulfill you, doing work that you're naturally going to be able to flow in. So for me, it certainly was that starting point of, no, I'm still the same. So much of my life is different, but I'm still the same. I'm still the same Kerry Anne that needs to, get out there and help. I love helping people. And it just so happens that a natural strength of mine is organising and systemizing. So, all right, let's do that then. I can do this. Yeah.
I can see there's a lot of, you know who you are. There's a lot of passion to serve, and you just get on with it. And when it
Yeah.
comes to, does courage actually help you to pursue this new path?
Oh yes, because there's so much that's unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how many sales I'm going to make, how many new clients. I don't know what the mess is under the hood of my client's business. They say, oh, I really need help with some admin, and I say, okay, let's have a look at that. We actually open their inbox, and there's 4,000 unread emails. Whoa, you don't know what you're going to find. So you don't know what's going to happen, but I think for me, I've realized that the only certainty that I have is that I can truly know who I am, and I can back myself, that I'm going to be able to respond in a way that is empowering, and I won't go under. And that's where that word unstoppable comes from. I use it so frequently in all my branding and my blogs, that it's everywhere. Because it comes from here, I'm thinking of that, and my self-talk all the time is about being unstoppable, because for me, I can back myself, that I don't need to know. I don't need to have certainty, but I do need to know that I've got it in me somehow. And the cool thing about this is that the more you see yourself succeed through a challenge, the more you can back yourself even further. It's like the first time I'm a runner. So the first time, you run up a hill and you're looking at the hill like, oh, I don't think I've got it in me. And you get halfway up the hill and it's like, yeah, I can't keep going. But then the next time you get a block further, it's like, oh, I just did that. I just ran that. And then the next time you get a little bit further. And after a while, you start to get this evidence that I really can do this. And you start believing. And then there's that action that fuels the self-talk, that fuels more action. And it's a really nice cycle that you get into. It's really positive.
Yeah, I think we're getting a really common theme from the other conversations that we've had in the season of courage. In life there's a lot of, transition, a lot of uncertainty. But when you know who you are, when you know yourself, you can ground yourself into that. You'll have clarity about who you are. You take
Yes,
action, you build momentum, and that's how you build your courage and your confidence as you go ahead in your life. Even in the midst of
absolutely.
uncertainty, even in the midst of difficulties, you power through by anchoring yourself onto your purpose, or onto who you are.
That's exactly right. And that never changes. You only get deeper and more refined in the knowledge of yourself. That core person doesn't change. You just get better at being that person and demonstrating that person and expressing. So then everything else around will change. People will come and go, sometimes unexpectedly, but relationships change and life changes. You probably move house. You might have children, then they'll move out. You work different work. Everything changes. It's all shifting. And so you don't need that certainty on the outside. And the more you can anchor down into, I say, just betting on yourself. I'm going to bet on myself that I'm going to make this through somehow. Yeah, and it all starts with really being true to yourself. And sometimes that means being really honest with yourself as well, and saying, oh, I'm not very good at that, or I don't like that, or I should never have made that choice. I've made a mistake. That's actually part of courage as well, because you've got to be brutally honest with yourself.
And I can see that you're really happy, you're really positive, even after going through that really traumatic, difficult period in your life. I can see that you're buzzing and you're, happy. And what message will you give to those who are still in that quite dark, difficult place? What message do you have for them?
Yeah, for sure. This is actually it's out of a whole round of content that's in my book, and yeah. So it is. You learn to triumph over adversity by triumphing over adversity. There's something about just getting in and doing it. You learn how to ride a bike by getting on the bike and riding it, and you fall off and you get back and you keep riding, and you'll get there. Everything, we learn how to drive a car by clunking and stalling, and somehow you get there and you get there better. And same with adversity. It takes practice to triumph, but you'll get there and you get better. And after a while, the things that used to throw you, if you can just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and bet on yourself that I'm going to really give this a go. I'm going to really engage here and pull out the deepest assets that I can, pull on my own resources here and get through. And it really can become a lifestyle of that. The idea you would ever be overcome would be crazy, because you've practiced triumphing over adversity.
Awesome. Well, that's really inspiring, Kerry. Thank you very much. So you're telling us about your book. What is it and where can people get it?
Yes. It's on my website. It's called Creating Your Infinite Self, How to Find and Follow Your Passion. And there's a lot there about the story of losing Alec, of course, and then my reflections on the way in about our experience and how we perceive our experiences and how we develop as people. And then there's the last section at the end there goes through literally step by step how to find and follow your passion. There's 7 steps there that you can follow to pull that out. So yeah, it's a good read, I think, and I know my heart and soul has been poured into that book. So yeah, a lot of tears. Over the computer as I pulled that one together, but it was really, really great journey, and lots of other people have benefited as a result.
I'm assuming it was a really cathartic process, but you can use your story to inspire others and so people can actually get some lessons in there and help them through difficult times as well.
Definitely. And that was what the whole plan was right from the start. From sitting there at that kitchen table, I thought, I want to inspire people. I want to empower them. And I really want to equip people with some practical things they can do to make a difference in their own life.
Awesome. And if people want to get in touch with you, invite you as a speaker, where can they get hold of you?
Yeah, certainly. I'm all over Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. So social media is the easiest because I'm there all the time, and I've got my assistants who help me with that too. Or you can email kerry@kerryannelson.com. I'm there as well. Yeah, you'll find me on my website though, kerryannelson.com.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, Kerry. I'm sure people will learn so much from your story. Such an inspiration after going through a difficult, traumatic time in your life. You're here and you're living your life like this. You're happy, you're buzzing, and it's a fantastic thing to do.
Thank you so much, Amy. That is really, really encouraging. I really appreciate that. I hope I've been an encouragement to other people. That's the whole mission.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kerry.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.